No. Hello, mathematicians. We are on Tuesday of our Math Master, and hopefully you're feeling more confident with this question right here, with this place value question. So this says, what number has 3 10,000s, 5 more thousands than 10,000s, 2 fewer hundreds and thousands, 4 fewer tens and hundreds, and 2 fewer ones and hundreds? If you read that question and immediately just said, right? You need to take it one step at a time. So we're going to take this one step at a time. Let's take a look at the first one. We know 3 10,000s. We know that this is our ones place, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So our 3 in the 10,000s place is going to go in that place value spot. So I got the first one done. 5 more thousands than 10,000s. Well, there's 3 10,000s, so 5 more would be 8. 2 fewer hundreds than thousands. So now we're in the hundreds. What's 2 fewer hundreds than thousands? So then we would have 6. 4 fewer tens than hundreds. That would be 2, because 4 less than 6 is 2. And 2 fewer ones than hundreds. So 2 fewer ones than hundreds. So there's 6 hundreds, so 2 less would be 4. So your number should be 38,624. I bet by the end of the week you'll feel much, much more confident. All right, now we have 825 times 7. This one might be a little bit tricky, but if we use that property, remember, called the distributive property, we can break this number up into different parts, and we have some options to do that. So I'm going to start by taking the 8 apart from here, and it really means 800, and I'm going to do 800 times 7. Then I'm going to talk about this part, which is 20. That value is 20, and I can multiply that by 7. And then 5, I can multiply that by 7. I can find all of these little partial products, all of these subtotals, and I'll get to my big total here. So this one right here, I can count 807 times, and that might be a little tricky. But I know that if I multiply 7 times 8, I would get 56. And I have that pattern that I know that it's hundreds number. So I can add these 2 zeros because that means hundreds. So 800 times 7 would be 5,600. 20 times 7, I could do the same trick, or I could count by 20 7 times. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. I would get 140. And then 5 times 7, 35. So now I can put all of those together and get my total. So I have 5 in the ones place. I have 7 in the tens place. I have 7 in the hundreds and 5 in the thousands. So 5,775. All right, next we have our balancing question, or like we said yesterday, our bouncing question. Here's 12 plus 8 on one side and 11 plus n on the other side. Here's our balance, or our bounce, whatever you want to call it. And on this side of it, we have 12 and 8, and 12 and 8 together make 20. So over here, oh, that's not very pretty. There we go. Then over here, we have 11 and something else. What do I need to add to 11 to get to 20? Yep, 9. So that means that n equals 9. Good job on that one. All right, next we have some multiplication. We'll do those real quick. We have 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 8, 24. Can't see this one. 6 times 10, 60. And 6 times 8 is 48. Next, let's take a look at our CGI question. Our CGI question says, Jake needs $725 to spend on his child's retainer. He has $478 saved so far. How much money does Jake still need? So this one you might need to draw a little sketch or draw a quick little picture or act it out. I'm going to draw a little sketch. So we have Jake, and Jake needs, here's Jake. He needs $725 for his retainer, for his child. He already has $478. That's what he has already. That's what I need. That's a lot of money. Here's what he has right now. So how much does he need to get to $725? We could do this a couple different ways. I see that these are dollars, so I'm just going to use a number line here. Remember our good old number line. And I'm going to use a counting up strategy on the number line. And I'm going to start with $478 because that's what he has now. And I'll end at $725 because that's what he needs to have. So I'll start with $478, and I can see that I could take a little jump of 2 if I needed to get to $480. Now, if you can see that, hey, I can just take a jump of 22 to get to a hundreds number, then I get to 500. Now I can take a giant jump of 200 to get to 700, and then a medium jump to get to 725. So now I need to count my jumps, what I did. I did 200, 25, and 22. So if I said 225, because I put these two together, and then I added another 22 to that number, then I would have 200 and what? Think about how could you combine those two? Well, I know that 25 is living inside of 22 is somewhat living inside of 25. So I could just say 240, because this is a 247. So $247 is what we should have. So we could say $247. All right, take a look at your Math Master. How'd you do? What's a strategy you might try next time? Did you see anything that you could try? Hi, mathematicians. Here is the answer for this first question about the place value spot. So take a look and see if you have that one. And we're going to jump right into this multiplication question. We have 643 and we're multiplying it by 8. There are several different strategies that you could use for this one. You could take it apart into its place value. So 600 times 8, 40 times 8, and 3 times 8. And that could be a strategy that you use. Remember that yesterday we saw that we could multiply 8 times 6 and do 48. And we know that these are hundreds numbers. So we can take that quick little shortcut. We could count by 600 8 times. That would take a really, really long time. And now we have our next one. We have 40 times 8. You could count by 40 8 times, or we could do that same thing. We know this is a tens number, and 8 times 4 is 32, and that is a tens number, so I'm going to add that 0. I have 3 times 8, and I could count 8, 16, 24 if I wasn't sure. And now I have 4,800. I'm adding it to 320 and then 24. If I need to add this all together, I can see I have 4,000s, but I have a problem here. I see that I have 800 and 320, and that might be a little bit tricky, so it might be hard for me to add it that way. So I might take a different strategy where I look at it horizontally for a second. And I might even break this up into 320 and this into 20 and 4 and this into 4,800. Now I can put like numbers together. I know I have 4,000, but what would happen if I put 800 and 300 together? What would I get? Yep, that's right. You would get 1,100. So now I can put 1,100 together with 4,000 a little bit easier than if it were just a vertical. So I have 5,100, and now I can start to add together these other numbers. I have 20, 20, and 4. So that would be 44. So now I can say I have 5,144 is what my answer is. I don't need that little equal sign there. That made no sense. There you go. All right, kiddos. So let's move on to our balancing question, or you can call it the balancing question still if you like it that way. And we have this equation. We have n plus 7 plus 5 equals 4 times 5. So this one looks a little bit different, but the concept is the same. We still have a balance. So what total is on this side? 4 times 5. What is the total of that? Yep, 20. And now let's look on the other side. What do we know we already have? 7 and 5 together are 12. So now I have n plus 12 equals 20. So what's going to be added to 12 to make the total of 20? What's that n going to be so that this can be 20? Yep, that's right, 8. So n equals 8. That unknown is 8. Multiplication question, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 9, think about that one if you're not sure, because sometimes people get stuck on 6 times 9. Here's a strategy. If you don't know 6 times 9, but you know 5 times 9, if 5 times 9 is 45, what's one more set of 9? Yeah, that's right, 54. So 54. So finally, we have our CGI question. So our CGI question has, let's get some of this out of the way here, so we have a little bit more space. All right, so Jack had some trucks. Jack had some trucks, and Sam has 34 more trucks than Jack. If Sam has 54 trucks, how many trucks does Jack have? So this is another one of those questions where we see the word more and we might think we just have to add, but we don't want to just focus on keywords. We want to focus on what's happening in the question. So I'm going to use that T-chart method again, and here's my little T-chart. So here's Jack and here's Sam. Jack has some trucks. I don't know what that is, so I could call that a question mark, or I can call it an N. That's my sum. I don't know what it's going to be. Sam has 34 more than Jack. So he has 34 more than Jack, than the unknown. If Sam has 58, so Sam's total is 58, then how many does Jack have? So now we can figure out that unknown. And we can either use a counting up strategy or a subtraction strategy. So I am going to think about this as a counting up strategy. I'm starting with 34 and I want to end with 58. I'm going to do a jump of 6 to get to 40, and a jump of 10 to get to 50, and a jump of 8 to get to 58. So now I did a jump of 10 and 8, that's 18, plus 6, that's 24. So I see that I have 24 jumps total. So that means that N is 24. So Sam has 24 trucks. Jack has 24 trucks. So stop and reflect. How did it go today? Are you feeling more confident with some of these question types? Which ones do you need to focus on? Do you see a strategy that you can try next time?